Sometimes a matchup comes along so steeped in history and so unbelievable that it only takes the playoffs to kick it up a notch. This afternoon, from Buffalo, New York, the Queen City Corsairs, four-time SFL champions, and the Mexico City Aztecs, one-time SFL champions but perennial powerhouses, clash in the first round of the 2020 Spring SFL playoffs. Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm Michael Torillo, play-by-play commentator. Alongside me is Robert Garrett Jr. in the booth, and on stats is Andy Hamilton as we're down on the field for the coin toss. Robert, it's just about that time. Playoffs are here. It's win or go home, and one of these two legendary franchises is going to play no more until the summer.
Yeah, this is something that both teams have been fighting for all season. And I mean, you would expect it. All of the names of players on each team that are just known all throughout the league for their number of stats and things like that, and their names in the record books. So excited to get into it.
We're just about to get started here on 11 Sports and for the fans. If you're joining us after the last game, welcome into the Simulation Football League Season 14 playoffs. Once again, Michael Torillo, Robert Garrett Jr., Andy Hamilton with you for this one. It's the black and green versus the red and green. Two color combinations steeped in SFL lore and history, but it's all about right now. It's all about today. Robert, tell us what we should be anticipating as these two teams get set to square off.
I mean, you got to anticipate that Mexico City, when they get on offense, are going to come out firing fast and try to get anything they can going. So you got to watch and see if Queen City's defense is able to stop them and contain them.
We are underway from Conco Field in Buffalo, New York. The return is out to the 19-yard line. Let's take a look at the offense for Queen City. Their quarterback is A.J. Caswell. Their wide receivers are Luther Gahn, Chris Curtis, and Stephen Hacker. In the backfield is Jet Zero. The tight end is James Matthew Jr. And Griffin King and Freddie Tubbs Jr. are providing the protection for Caswell today. They're in all black with bright green highlights, as tradition implies that they wear pretty much every single game. Caswell, low snap on first down, is going to go over the middle. It's going to be caught in between the safeties, up past the 40, and up to the 42-yard line. And that's Chris Curtis on the catch there. Here's the defense for Mexico City. Brock Lee, Orion Taylor, and Brandon Ennis on the defensive line. Linebackers Tony Stack, Dexter Jackson, and Nick Daggs. Corners Zarin Pryor, Fran Ogawa, and Hans Hayumi. And holding it down to the back are the safeties Jeffrey Daggs and Pablo Zamora. Four wide set on first down after the long pass. Caswell back to pass. He's going to throw over the middle again and again. Right down the throat of the Mexico City defense into Aztec territory at the 41-yard line.
Mexico City's got to make sure to get pressure on A.J. Caswell. He's been known this season to make mistakes when pressure is applied to him, but if he's got time and able to sit back in that pocket and wait, he's going to find Chris Curtis or Stephen Hacker or even the tight end easily.
They're going to go for a power I set here. Maybe get Jet Zero his first carry. Here's the fullback dive. And getting launched out of the way is Brock Lee, but only a 1-yard carry as Jackson picks up the tackle.
Yeah, Jet Zero is really hit or miss on these dive plays. And Mexico City did a really good job at keeping him inside there, able to stop only after a gain of 1.
Second down and 9. Mexico City looking for an answer here early on defense to the deep threat. I formation, 2 receivers left. Caswell under center. He's going to take a 3-step drop throw to the near side. That pass is complete. And that'll be Stephen Hacker's first catch of the day. Hacker leads the league in receiving yards with that actually will put him over 1,600 receiving yards for the season with that catch right there.
Yeah, and he could have gained some more yards there, but A.J. Caswell took just a little too long to throw that football. So Hacker already had full momentum headed towards the sideline. If he lets that ball go just a little earlier, Stephen Hacker can cut that ball up, and who knows what's going to happen after that.
First third down of the day for the Corsairs. It's 3rd and 4. Caswell back to pass over the middle, and it's caught by Curtis right down the field inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line. It looks like the Corsairs have identified the weakness of the Aztec defense early.
Yeah, they're attacking both corners on both sides of the field right now. And, I mean, they got to figure something out, whether it's getting some safety help up on these 2 receivers or just playing a little bit better. but right now they're struggling to do that, and it's letting Queen City march straight down the field.
It's been a dynamically efficient drive. Here's Jet Zero. His second carry today will go for no yards. Second down and 10. Through the air, though, they've gone from all the way inside their own 20 to inside the Mexico City 20 in just 6 plays.
Yeah, and they're not able to get much done right now on the run. It seems like the defensive line's just overpowering the offensive line and making sure Jet Zero isn't able to gain anything up the middle.
Penalty as Mexico City jumps at the free play, and it's going to be intercepted, but it won't stand. Nice grab by Jeffrey Daggs. It would have been his team-leading 9th of the season, but I think this is what's going to come back.
Yeah, it's going to be an offsides call. And it was a smart move by Queen City. Just take a shot deep, see if they can get the touchdown early. If it was picked off like it was, no big deal. They get the ball back anyway. So no harm, no foul, and they can keep going with this drive.
So instead of a 2nd and 10, it'll be a 2nd and 5 for the Mexico City 12 as we get a look at James Matthew Jr., the tight end. He's had himself a pretty good season from that tight end spot. And he is lined up to the left of Caswell. Back to pass, plenty of time. Floats to the far side, caught for a first down as nice display of balance to keep himself in bounds there by Stephen Hacker. And actually, they marked him short, 3rd and inches at the 8.
Yeah, I don't like that call there. He was clearly across the line he needed to gain when he fell out of bounds. But I don't know if this is a point where they want to challenge. They might just try to run the ball up the middle or throw into the end zone. They're so close.
Now, on the first drive of the game, it's definitely not worth challenging. Here's Zero. He'll pick up the first down and a little bit more inside the 5 and down to the 4-yard line. Tackle made by Nick Daggs, the linebacker. 84 tackles to his name in the regular season.
Yeah, Zero hasn't gotten a whole lot done, but with inches to go, you can go to him anytime. He's got the power. He'll be able to push through a guy and make it just far enough to cross that line.
Zero, 700 yards and 4 touchdowns on the season. He's going to get the handoff again. He's going to break free, and he's going to get wrestled down at the 2. He had a lane to the end zone, but it was covered well by Fran Ogawa.
Yeah, Fran Ogawa came up and played that really well. Jet Zero was just running over multiple guys, and luckily they're able to grab him and take him down really close to the end zone.
Next, now it's a 2nd down and 2. From the 2-yard line, Zero again, barrels his way for 6 points. Put it on the board. Jet Zero opens the scoring here at Buffalo.
Offensive line just opened that hole up perfectly for them. It looked like they did the dive to Jet Zero, but were faking a pitch to that right side of the field. So some of the defenders had to stay true to that pitch, play up on it, and obviously it came back to bite them as Jet Zero was the one with the ball.
Well, Nick Daggs made a nice tackle on the previous play, but he got put on his behind right there by Jet Zero in the goal line as he walks in for the first touchdown of the game. 11 plays, 77 yards, ending with a 2-yard rushing touchdown by Zero. And on for the extra point is James Troll. He is up and good. And with 6:30 left to go in the first quarter, it's Queen City 7, Mexico City nothing. This is the SFL wild card game on 11 Sports and for the fans. Thank you for joining us. If you are just joining us and you missed a barn burner of a opening game, as Chicago won the first game over the St. Louis Gladiators and booked their ticket to the quarterfinals. One of these teams looking to do the same as the kickoff from Troll goes deep. And the Aztecs will get their first shot at this one. From the goal line, up past the 20, the returner is Joe Clark Jr., and here is the Mexico City offense. Matt Wilson is their record-setting quarterback. Joe Clark Jr., Richard Montague, and Cale Barrett, the wide receivers. Ray Bentley and Phoenix Jones in the backfield behind Wilson, and Mike Daggs is Mr. Throw It to the tight end. On 1st and 10 for their own 23-yard line, going left to right here in the first quarter. Wilson back to pass. The Bronze Bomber himself throws it out to Bentley, and Bentley makes one man miss and gets pushed out of bounds after a gain of 6.
Yeah, Ray Bentley has had one of his best seasons when receiving the football this season. Not so much running. It's actually his worst when it comes to rushing yards, but sharing the carries with Phoenix Jones this season, still able to get a lot done through the air for the Aztecs.
We had mentioned one of his worst seasons running the ball. He still has 10 rushing touchdowns with Ray Bentley. Here is Wilson. Soft zone over the middle. That pass is caught. First down and more. Up to the 41-yard line. First catch of the game for K.L. Barrett. He is the go-to receiver for number 12.
Yeah, this Mexico City offense, all of the receivers are pretty big in size and build. So you really got to play up tight to them, play aggressive. Otherwise, they're going to get catches like that all game when you got guys 2 or 3 yards away.
Wilson under center. Ray Bentley along to the backfield. Out. Queen City jumps. Free play for the Aztecs. Floated over the middle, and it's incomplete. Almost picked off. Let's run you through the Queen City defense. On the defensive line, it's Jeff Duffy and Benjamin Garcia. David Tilley is there as well as the defensive end. Avery King and Ajabu Afalabi are the linebackers. Corners Nene Ferris and Nacho Sicario. And safety Stenzo Woods Jr., Albert Beguin, and Kappa Jones. That's who to watch on the Queen City defensive side, as they trail 7-0 here after a 6-6 regular season. The Aztecs barely snuck into the playoffs in the last week of the regular season. Here's an offset eye. Wilson just going to toss it out on the far side to Bentley. Oh, he got shoved the wrong direction and ends up losing a few yards. Second down and 5 coming up. I couldn't quite see who shoved him. It looked to be Albert Begin, the Week 9 signing at free safety.
Yeah, Albert Begin came flying in full speed and not able to quite get a tackle, but able to throw Bentley out of balance, make him stumble backwards, which in turn caused him to tiptoe onto the sideline and lose a couple yards by going out of bounds.
Technically a loss of 1 on the play here. 2nd and 6, Bentley's first carry of the game. He goes up the middle, tries to spin out of a tackle. He does, but he was slowed up just enough for Ajabu Afalabi, the veteran linebacker, to come in and grab the tackle. Afalabi, 6th season of the Simulation Football League, first here in Queen City, previously played for the St. Louis Gladiators as well as a host of other teams. First third down attempt for the Aztecs. 3rd and 3 from their own 48, approaching midfield. Already down 7-0. Wilson, no-step drop, a fire over the middle, and a nice catch in between the linebackers and the safeties. Richard Montague picks up his first catch of the game.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure what they were trying to do with their coverage there. They dropped a bunch of guys deep and left that middle wide open, which is what really set Richard Montague up for that catch.
Montague, 4 touchdowns on the year. I'll finish this stat after this Ray Bentley run. He'll be buried by a combination of David Tilley and Benjamin Garcia after a gain of 2. So Richard Montague has 4 touchdowns on the season and over 800 yards receiving now after that catch. He scored his first touchdown in week number 5 of the season in a win over London. So it took a bit for Montague to get going. Wilson, 5-step drop, throws it short to Bentley. And Bentley is run down after a gain of 3, 3rd down and 5.
And great play by the defense there. Not quite able to man up on Ray Bentley, but able to close in on him after he made the catch. He didn't have the ability to set his feet and really get the speed that he's used to having. So able to quickly wrap him up, take him down to the ground.
Second straight 3rd down, a conversion attempt from the Aztecs. It's going to be a fake handoff down the field. Caught inside the 20. Unbelievable. Down to the 12-yard line. Joe Clark Jr. went and took it away from both safeties.
Yeah, and one of the players for Queen City got up there to try to pick the ball off. I believe it was Stenzo Woods Jr., but the ball just a little too high for him, and it looked like his hand was too far to the right. Had the potential to swat that ball down, but not able to position himself correctly.
Well, after that throw, both quarterbacks still perfect on the day. Wilson 6 for 6, Caswell 5 for 5 after his opening drive. Thanks for Andy Hamilton keeping us appraised of all the stats and figures to keep our broadcast moving smoothly. Wilson, a handoff. Phoenix Jones, his first carry of the day. Shot the tackle, gets a block from Bentley, and Phoenix Jones scores a touchdown, and it's tied.
And Phoenix Jones, this rookie has done so much for the Mexico City offense this season. And I bet he's just so ecstatic, headed to the sideline, that he was the first one to score for the Aztecs this season in the playoffs. His first playoff appearance. And he's got to be feeling good about that.
His fifth rushing touchdown of the season, 8th overall. How about Ray Bentley getting in front to put a pancake block on Avery King down the field to set up the touchdown?
Yeah, Bentley, the Hall of Famer, used to the Aztecs looking for him to get things done. This season has taken a little bit of a different role, but kind of acknowledges it and does what he can to help out the rookie.
Kick from Cole Varder is up and good. We've got ourselves a 7-7 ball game, 2:46 to go, and we come back on the Simulation Football League playoffs on 11 Sports and for the fans. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Pro Field in Buffalo, New York. The hometown Queen City Corsairs, the visiting Mexico City Aztecs. It's Wild Card Saturday here in the Simulation Football League, the 14th edition of the SFL playoffs, well and truly underway as a kick deep by Cole Varder is down in the end zone by Luther Gond. And the 20-yard line is where the Corsairs will start their second drive. Robert, both teams perfect pretty much on their opening drives. So the question now is, which defense is going to step up first?
Yeah, it's really hard to tell. I think consistently that Queen City's defense this season has been a little bit better, but you see a lot of bright spots by the Aztecs defense. So you got to look for them to do something that just shocks Queen City here.
Caswell, shotgun throw is off the shoulder of James Matthew Jr., the tight end. He was a good job by blanketing coverage by Dexter Jackson. And the pass goes incomplete, second down and 10.
And that's the first incomplete pass of the game for either side. So it's got to be tough on AJ Caswell now, knowing that he was the first one to make a mistake, even though that one wasn't necessarily his fault. So the receiver just couldn't quite pull the ball in.
Caswell had Orion Taylor in his lap as he made that throw. Shotgun for Caswell, 5 receivers. He throws down the field to the right-hand side, and it's caught by Curtis. And there goes Chris Curtis at the sideline to the 30, to the 20, and he's going to be run down at the 21-yard line of Mexico City, essentially flipping the field. An 80-yard catch for Chris Curtis.
And the speed that Chris Curtis had there was just incredible. Able to get that ball and immediately turn up to another level of speed and just beat everybody that was covering him or even attempting to catch up to him there at the end.
And that was Han Tayumi on the coverage. He's got 7 interceptions on the year, so good job by Curtis to outrun him on the corner route. And now, at the 21-yard line, just outside of the red zone, it's going to be a fullback dive to 0, and he gets clobbered after a gain of 2. Nice tackle on the play there by Nick Daggs.
And this is looking just like the first drive for Queen City. Did a lot of things in the air until they got inside the red zone. Once they got into the red zone, Jet Zero really able to turn up and power through to help set them up for goal line situation.
And something I didn't notice at the end of the first drive is Zero right up the middle again. The first 2 touchdowns of the game were both scored by the fullbacks, Zero and Jones. So an interesting little stat there.
And 2 of the top fullbacks that were taken in this season's draft as well.
Yeah, Jones taken in the first round. Zero also taken in the first round. So fullback paying dividends. There's a sneak by Caswell. We know Queen City likes to do this, but he's a yard short at the 12. It caught me off guard, but it certainly didn't catch the Aztec defense.
Yeah, and that was a bad call for a 3rd and 3. Just a little too far for the offensive line to get a push and help Caswell to get up to the area to get. But they're going to come out and see maybe if they go for it. I think they probably are just trying to get him to jump off sides.
Well, 45 seconds left in the opening quarter. A very slow-moving opening quarter. Only one possession each side, plus this one for Queen City. And they will indeed call a timeout as Mexico City does not jump offside. And on will come James Troll to try a field goal.
Yeah, and Queen City, I mean, they were close enough. Maybe you think about trying to go for it there. 4th and 1, and Mexico City would have been backed up fairly well into their territory. I don't know if maybe that's what Caswell and his coach were discussing there, but it looked like it got a little bit heated.
Barkley and Caswell have been working together for a long time. 7 seasons here at Queen City for AJ Caswell. But he's going to have to give the ball over to Troll, who's going to try a 29-yard field goal. Snap is down. The hold is good. The kick is up. And it is right through there from 29 yards to give the Corsairs the lead again. It's 10-7 with 30 seconds to go in the first quarter. We'll be right back after this. This is the Simulation Football League playoffs. Wild Card Saturday rolls on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Stay with us. On the return, here comes Joe Clark Jr. for the Mexico City Aztecs. He'll get up to the 21-yard line. 27 seconds to go in this afternoon's first quarter. Queen City leads at 10-7 here in the first round of the Season 14 playoffs, and that drive was really made possible by an 80-yard pass to Chris Curtis that got Queen City from their own 20 to the Mexico City 20. Aztecs trying to respond now. Wilson under center got a bunch formation right. He's going to look that way. He's going to throw over the middle, and it's in and out of the hands of the receiver. It was intended for Cale Barrett. And right there on the coverage was Albert McGinn.
Yeah, and that's one of those catches you really got to bring in. The ball was high up enough that only he could have got it, and it was in his hands, but trying to focus too much on getting hit and ended up dropping that ball.
One of the ones that Barrett will probably wish he had back. Now they're going to go heavy set. Both Phoenix Jones and Ray Bentley in the backfield behind Wilson, who's under center on 2nd and 10. They're going to hand it off to Bentley up the middle and nowhere to go as Bentley gets crushed to only a gain of 1. Nice tackle as Jamu Afalabi picks up his second.
When they get back into that huddle, I'm sure Ray Bentley and Phoenix Jones are going to have a little conversation as Phoenix just didn't get out of Bentley's way fast enough. I don't know if he was looking for somebody to block or just didn't know where to go, but Ray Bentley ran into him, and that's what caused it.
That's the end of the first quarter. Queen City 10, Mexico City 7. Second quarter up next. This is the SFL playoffs at 11 Sports and For the Fans. Welcome back to Compro Field, Buffalo, New York. It's the Mexico City Aztecs and the Queen City Corsairs in this first round SFL playoff matchup here in Season 14. And immediately a 3rd down and 9 for Matt Wilson to the Aztecs. The Navigator's going to pitch it over the middle, and it's almost picked off. Begin again. He's been everywhere on the field so far, and that time he ends the Aztec drive.
Yeah, he really threw Matt Wilson off there, too. Dropped back real deep to play deep zone, but as soon as that ball was released, came up with full speed and just about picked that ball off. And interesting thing to note, too, there's only one guy Matt Wilson hasn't tried to target yet, and that's Mike Daggs.
Oh yeah, Leonard, I'm coming. I'm locking in.
I'm Michael Cirillo, your play-by-play commentator. Alongside me is Robert Garrett Jr. Andy Hamilton is on stats. A really short punt is going to give Queen City the ball in Aztec territory as Luther Gond picks up a fair catch at the 48-yard line, and a good chance here for the Corsairs to extend their lead.
The last drive, Queen City just tried a little bit too much, trying to throw in that quarterback sneak and catch the defense off guard. I look to them to go back a little bit more to jet zero and then throwing out to the receivers, Curtis and Hacker.
Caswell to the far side, a little bit of misdirection, and breaking a tackle, and Stephen Hacker goes down the field to the 20. Oh, he's going to get run down at the 11. He almost had a touchdown. Jeffrey Daggs tackled him from behind.
And the coverage on that play was really good coverage. Just Stephen Hacker and his size able to just put the corner straight into the ground. Didn't really have a chance to wrap him up as Hacker cut on him and really threw his footing off.
Would you say he hacked into the defense and got free for a big gain?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Again, the 3rd trip to the red zone for the Queen City Corsairs now. 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. They can get a first down inside the 1. Jones, Zero on the carry. He piles forward for a gain of 4 up to the 7.
This is something both defenses are doing pretty well at so far, as plugging up the middle. It seems like all the defensive tackles are going straight for each A-gap, really preventing the run from being able to go through them very well.
Handoff, Zero again. He's looked like he had a lane to the end zone, but it was quickly closed by Jeffrey Daggs and Dexter Jackson. 3rd down and 3 from the 4.
And right as I compliment the defensive line, they just absolutely get manhandled on that play. And like you said, Jet Zero had the lane, but trying to do too much, trying to make defenders miss that he didn't necessarily need to, ends up getting dropped.
3 receivers for Caswell to aim at here. 3rd and 3, 9 minutes, 21 seconds to go, and he's going to pass it over the middle, and it's an easy pitch and catch for Chris Curtis. Put it on the board. Queen City has their 2nd touchdown of the afternoon, and they take a 9-point lead.
Yeah, James Matthew Jr. there just running a short little, streak kind of route, able to step up in the opening in the end zone, or a little bit more of a crossing route than a streak, but steps up into the open hole in the end zone, and Caswell able to just float that ball to him quick enough that the safety couldn't get up to it, but also, soft enough that he had plenty of time to think about the catch.
Check on the last play. That was James Matthew Jr. with his 11th touchdown of the season, and now James Troll on to attempt the extra point to give the 10-point lead to the Corsairs. It is up and good. 9:19 to go. 17-7. Queen City starting to ramp up the pressure on the former champion from Season 9 Mexico City Aztecs. And speaking of former champions, well, we've got a lot of them on the field today because Queen City dominated early SFL history. They are the Season 1, 3, 6, and 8 SFL champions.
Yeah, and they're feeling good so far in the playoffs, and really starting to get going here. They're looking for another championship, and if they keep playing like this, it's hard to say whether or not they can get there.
Joe Clark Jr. downs the Troll kickoff in the end zone, and now let's take a look at another legend. Matt Wilson, who's under center for the Mexico City Aztecs just this season, a couple of games ago, passed the legendary touchdown mark. He's got the most passing touchdowns in SFL history, and he continues to set records every single week. Wilson, a 7-step drop. He's under pressure, and down he goes. Oh no, Wilson. He throws touchdown passes, but he also takes sacks. That's his 33rd taken sack of the season, courtesy of Jeff Duffy.
Yeah, and that, as you said, was Jeff Duffy, who all season has just been a problem for quarterbacks. Able to get into the backfield often, and so the tackles really got to try hard to stop him and keep him from getting to Wilson.
A 25th sack of the season for Jeff Duffy. And Noah did not read that number wrong. He is a beast. Here is Bentley. Double spin move, and he gets away from what? A jump cut in front of nobody allows the defense to catch up to him, but he gains the lost yards on the sack and a little bit more. 3rd down and 9 from the 21.
Yeah, when in doubt, hand the ball to Ray Bentley. He may not be able to get to a first down that very first play, but as you said, able to gain back the yards that they lost on the sack +1 and set them up for still a 3rd and long, but a much easier 3rd and long than it was.
Wilson short, and it's not going to be enough. Richard Montague out of bounds at the 27-yard line. 4th down and 3. That's 2 empty possessions in a row for Mexico City, already down 10. It's time for their defense to start stepping up here.
The problem with the quick outs for the offenses this season in the SFL is a lot of times it sets things up like what just happened, where they're already too close to the sideline when this ball gets thrown, which causes them to immediately go out of bounds, and they don't have time to recover. So on a 3rd down, you're going to get the yards back, but you're not going to quite get where you need to be.
Paco gets the punt away. This one a little bit better than his previous effort. Taken at the Queen City 45, and that is where the Corsairs will start their next drive. Up 10, 7:54 to go in the second quarter. And let's take a look at Stephen Hacker. He leads the league in receiving yards, over 1,600 now after the first quarter of this one.
And in 3 seasons, this is his 2nd season of over 1,500 yards. Only his 2nd season, he didn't quite get that, but just doing great things for this Queen City offense to set them up for victory.
Nice pass over the middle into the hands of the tight end, James Matthew Jr. He'll pick up a first down to the Mexico City 45.
Yeah, and I think that hit by Jeffrey Daggs winded him just a little bit. Took a little bit longer than normal to get up after the play, just trying to catch his breath. And actually, that tackle was by Dexter Jackson. I just saw Jeffrey Daggs first. That's my fault.
Somebody better go check on the ref. He took a shot on that play as well. Looks like he's up and standing there, the back judge. 1st and 10 inside Mexico City territory. The Corsairs have lived inside the Aztec part of the field in this game. Over the middle, deep ball is caught by Chris Curtis. Again, Queen City pressuring the Mexico City red zone to the 22-yard line. Curtis now up to 122 yards.
Yeah, that's a big stat line for Chris Curtis. Not necessarily the go-to receiver when it comes to Queen City's offense, but this game, getting it done, it just seems like Mexico City doesn't have an answer for him.
Under 7 minutes to go now in the first half. It's been methodical the way this Queen City team has opened up its lead. A 10-point lead and looking for more. Here's Jet Zero up the middle for Ford. And he's down to the 18-yard line. And again, inside the red zone. And get this, Queen City has only run, if my memory serves me right, 4 plays in their own half of the field in this entire game so far.
Yeah, they're doing big things to get across the 50 and into Mexico City territory. A lot of the times it has been a deep ball to Chris Curtis, and then once they get into Mexico City side, they slow things down the ball to Jet Zero as they are now and try to march up the field.
Zero bounces off a couple of tackles, gets close to a first down. It'll be 2 yards to go, 3rd and 2 from the 13. And if you're Mexico City right now, you've just got to try and stem the tide and hope your offense can get something together.
Yeah, you're looking at 3rd and short. You got to watch Jet Zero see and make sure he's not getting the ball, because if he is, he's going to come with full power.
Only one back in the backfield. Kaz with a throw to the end zone. It's intercepted at the 4-yard line, and that's what you need if you're Mexico City. A get back into this game via an interception by Fran Ogawa, his 4th of the year.
Yeah, tried to force that ball to Stephen Hacker there, and really looked like a little bit of a miscommunication, and Fran Ogawa able to pick that ball off.
Could this be the break that Mexico City is waiting for? Find out next. This is the SFL Playoffs on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Michael Torello and Robert Garrett Jr., along with Anthony Hamilton here in Buffalo, New York. First round of the Simulation Football League Season 14 playoffs between the Queen City Corsairs and the Mexico City Aztecs. Bentley under a tackle, spin move to get by another, and that's the way to get out of your own danger area in front of your own end zone as he picks up 6 to the 11-yard line.
I don't know how many times he got hit there. I thought he was going to get stopped at the line of scrimmage. I thought he was going to get stopped 2 yards after. I mean, he went through so many contacts there, just able to force ahead for 6 yards.
Here's Bentley again, right through the hole, and shows off the power this time as he falls forward for a first down. And if you just showed those two plays back-to-back to an outside observer, you'd probably be looking at two different running backs.
Yeah, Ray Bentley, speed and power, able to do both really well, and that's why he is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, sometimes Bentley hits the hole and just starts spinning, and nobody knows where he is. The whirling dervish out there, and first thing you know, he's behind you, running down the field, and then he can just truck you if he feels like it. 1st and 10 for the 14. Wilson to throw. He's going to check it outside to Bentley, who turns the corner, has room to work. Spin move for a first down. 11-yard pickup out to the 26-yard line. We are watching the Ray Bentley show at the moment.
Yeah, those swing passes are killer for defenses when they're not expecting them. And it looked like, you know, they were so focused on playing the receivers who have gotten a lot of these passes that they just completely forgot about Ray Bentley, able to gain 10 yards or more off that swing pass.
1st and 10 at the 26. Wilson under pressure. He's going to go down. His second taken sack of the day. We're going to see who that was, and it looks like it's
Jeff Duffy.
Yeah, Duffy again. Looks like he'll pick up a half sack.
Yeah, and there was nowhere that Wilson could have gone there. He got hit from in front and behind. He just kind of had to take the pressure and drop his shoulder and let him take him down.
Benjamin Garcia was the other man there. Loss of 4, 2nd and 14. Here's Phoenix Jones in the middle. Nice gain by the fullback to gain those lost yards back and a little bit more. So a 8-yard gain by Jones as he takes off like a sprinter right up the middle, and it took 2 to bring him down.
Yeah, and Albert Begin and Kappa Jones both stepped up, showing that they're not afraid of a little bit of contact with a big power runner like Phoenix Jones, and able to team up together and take him down.
But now it's 3rd down where Queen City has pinned their ears back all game long. Wilson again pressure in his face, floats to the middle, and it's caught for a first down. Nice catch by Cale Barrett. He missed a 3rd down catch earlier in the game, makes up for it there by moving the ball down the field. Fresh set of downs for the Aztecs.
Really a great play by Barrett. The ball was underthrown a little bit as it looked like Matt Wilson had to face a little bit of pressure there. But even with it being underthrown, Barrett was able to reach back and grab that ball, all while facing contact from Queen City.
Here's Bentley looking for a lane to run through. He's going to find one against all odds. He's going to pick up 11 and a first down out to midfield. Again, how many black and green jerseys did he run through? It looked like 5.
Yeah, he looked like a walking glow stick by the end of that play. I mean, so much green just hanging off of him, like trying to drag him for dear hope. But he wasn't giving up. He kept his feet moving and able to get a first down out of that run.
Now, on that replay, I think I counted 6 Queen City defenders who had at least a touch of Bentley on that play. Still ran for 11 yards. 1st and 10 from the 19-yard line, or the 49-yard line. And this is going to go out to Bentley. He's got plenty of room to run. Trucks the first man, gets 9. And out of bounds at the Queen City 41, the second trip from Mexico City into Queen City territory. And something I've noticed about Ray Bentley is it's rarely, when he gets out in space, the first man to him brings him down.
No, you always got to expect as the first man to tackle Ray Bentley that you're just the guy that's going to slow him down. You're really setting it up for the stop. So you got to hope that there's another teammate close by you coming in to finish up the tackle.
Shotgun on 2nd and 1 for Wilson. Play off with 8 seconds to go. He's going to take a shot over the middle, and in triple coverage, it's hauled in at the 30-yard line. Nice catch by Montague. First down at the 30-yard line, rather, of Queen City, and that will bring us to the 2-minute warning of the first half. It's a 10-point lead, 17-7 for the Corsairs, but the Aztecs are driving to lower the gap. This is the Simulation Football League playoffs on 11 Sports, and for the fans, don't touch that browser. Back in Queen City, Buffalo, New York is the location. The first round of the SFL playoffs is the occasion as the Mexico City Aztecs try to get back in this one down 10. Michael Trillo and Robert Garrett Jr. on the call for the final 2 minutes. And at the delayed handoff to Bentley, he's got a caravan down the field. A bunch of white jerseys leading him to a first down at the 19-yard line. That was a brilliantly designed play.
Yeah, David Tilley's going to be shaking his head after that play. He was in the backfield standing right next to Ray Bentley when the handoff happened, and I just think that he was a little bit confused by the play that Mexico City was running, ended up chasing Bentley and was never able to catch up to him.
Offset I, no receivers, 1st and 10 for the 19. A second trip to the red zone for the Aztecs, and here's Bentley. He'll get dragged to the ground by Begin, along with Afolabi after a gain of only 2.
Yeah, and that was one of those plays where you brought up earlier, if you make contact with Bentley first, there's a good chance you're not taking him down, as Afolabi was hanging onto his legs, trying to make sure he didn't gain speed again.
Here's Bentley, gets a nice block, gets to the outside, to the 5, to the 4, and he's going to fall to the 2 as a touchdown-saving tackle was made by Nacho Sicario. And it's going to be 1st and goal from inside the 5 for the Aztecs.
And that was a big hit for the corner, able to take Bentley down, hitting him from the side like that. And as you said, it really saved a touchdown because there was nobody else there to help out.
Handoff, Bentley up the middle, didn't get there, and a timeout taken by Mexico City. Nice tackle in the hole by Kappa Jones, 2nd and goal.
Yeah, there was nobody else there to make that tackle. All of the linebackers ended up being blocked. The defensive line not doing a good job at keeping their linebackers free right now.
40 seconds to go in this first half. Remember, Mexico City gets the ball to start the second half. So this could be a huge swing of momentum if they're able to punch the ball in here. Wilson to throw, floats it to the end zone. It's tipped and incomplete. He was looking for Mike Daggs, who still doesn't have a catch today. In the back of the end zone, it was knocked away. Now 3rd and goal.
Yeah, that was the first target to Mike Daggs. And just immediately the Corsairs able to go flying to that ball. 2 or 3 of them surrounded Daggs to try to prevent that from being caught.
It's going to be a spread formation. 2 receivers to the left side of Wilson, who's in the gun. 3rd and goal from the 1-yard line. Wilson looking for a receiver. He throws to the end zone. It's knocked away. Beautiful coverage there by David Tilley, of all people, and it's 4th and goal, and it looks like they're going to bring out Cole Varner, or excuse me, Avery King was on the coverage.
And that was a route I was watching the whole time, just to see even if the Corsairs were going to be able to cover it. You see a lot of those short routes by the backs being ran where nobody really goes in to cover it, but Avery King, able to fly in there and get his hands on the ball, prevent Phoenix Jones from making that catch.
Here is Cole Varner, pretty much a kicking legend in his own right here in the SFL, as he will take what is essentially a field goal, or an extra point try, rather, and turn it into 3 points. A snap is bobbled a little bit. He puts it up and good from 17 yards, so with 28 seconds to go in the first half, it's 17-10 Queen City. That's not really the worst option for Mexico City because, yes, you didn't get into the end zone, but you do get the ball first in the second half. If you could hold Queen City to no points, you're down 7 going into halftime with the ball. It's not the worst situation in the world.
No, you just gotta hope that your defense able to step up in the second half, play like they know that they can, and stop Queen City's explosive offense from getting anywhere.
Luther gone up to the 20-yard line. That last drive, 15 plays, 89 yards. It took a majority of the second quarter clock off. And now with only 23 seconds left, what do you dial up here if you're Caswell and the Corsairs?
I mean, it's worked so far. Deep ball to Chris Curtis. They could set themselves up in field goal range off of just a couple plays if they play this correctly.
Now, it looks like they're going to go conservative here. A handoff to 0-0. Lays a defender on his back. That was Hantai Yumi. Gets tackled after a gain of 5, but it looks like they're not going to go hurry up or call any timeouts, and we'll just ease our way into halftime with a 7-point lead for the Corsairs.
Yeah, they're just going to help Jet Zero build up some stats for this first half. Play nice and relaxed and go into halftime up by 7.
We have hit the halftime interval. It's Corsairs 7 seed, Mexico City Aztecs 10. This game is not over yet. 2 of the most storied SFL franchises continuing to clash right after the break. And let's talk about that first half. Yardage a little bit even if you look at total yards because Ray Bentley was a beast on the ground. Passing yards in favor of Caswell, mostly because of the 2 long bombs to Chris Curtis.
Yeah, Chris Curtis with 122 yards in just the first half alone has played incredible football in the first half for Queen City to help them out to be where they're at with a 17-10 lead.
The story of the game really, though, has been the fullbacks on offense because Jet Zero scored the first touchdown of the game, and Phoenix Jones, as you see right here, with an equally impressive touchdown, helping out with a block from his running back to tie the game. That was in the first quarter. A game where both fullbacks score a touchdown is not something we often see here in the SFL, so we got treated to a good one here. Here's the long bomb to Chris Curtis that set up the field goal for Queen City. But it's just been a back-and-forth half, and if you're the Corsairs at halftime, do you make any adjustments? If so, what?
I mean, I think they might change a little bit up on defense, just trying to keep Ray Bentley contained, try to keep him inside a little bit more. But offensively, no, I don't think there's anything they do differently other than try to keep getting the ball to their playmakers.
And if you're Mexico City, how do you erase this 7-point deficit and continue the momentum swing in your favor? Because that interception right at the end of the half really kind of put them in control of this game, even though they're down 7.
Yeah, the main thing they got to do is when they have Queen City in their own side of the field, they've got to play better coverage. They're giving up a lot to Chris Curtis, especially, and they just can't win if they're getting big plays and end up in Mexico City's territory every play.
Second half about to begin from Conpro Field here in Buffalo, New York. The Queen City Corsairs lead the Mexico City Aztecs 17-10 after a cagey close combat first half of play. The ball is in the air from James Troll, and we are having underway with the second half. Here is Joe Clark Jr. from the goal line, working left, gets to the 24 before he is tackled.
Yeah, Joe Clark Jr. there. Oh, go ahead.
And as we start the second half, it's time to take a look back to earlier in this season, week 7, which the Queen City Corsairs defeated the Mexico City Aztecs 29-19.
I think the big thing to look at there is Mexico City 0-2 in Buffalo. They're playing this game in Buffalo, and they got to try to get something done so that they can scrub that record.
Wilson in the tight coverage. What a catch, and yards afterwards as well for a first down. Nice grab by Montague to move the chains on 1st and 10. And a big thing in there, because we've mentioned how Chris Curtis is going off this game. He had 216 yards at his previous meeting against the Aztecs this season, so number 84 has just been all over Mexico City in both times they've met.
Yeah, they do a good job at keeping Stephen Hacker contained, but by doing that, they're giving up a lot from Chris Curtis.
Wilson to Jones. Jones sheds a tackler, 11 more yards and a first down out to the 46-yard line. Just under 45 seconds gone here in the third quarter. We thank you so much for tuning in to the SFL playoffs here in season 14. And a little bit of misdirection there by Wilson going to the fullback when you saw the linebackers shading towards Bentley.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit at halftime, but normally this would be time for Ray Bentley to shine, but because defenses know him so well, they're getting to use Phoenix Jones a lot and doing very successful things with him so far.
Here's Bentley running left, has Phoenix Jones in front of him, gets a great block, starts spinning, and he gets him past 1 and a 9-yard pickup. So 3 plays on this drive that started at their own 24, 11-yard run, 11-yard pass, and then a 9-yard run. So it's been a very efficient drive right out of the half by the Aztecs here.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of things right. And as I said, Queen City's defense has really got to adjust, got to play the running backs well, and everything after that will start to click.
Linebackers really pressing up on the line here. Wilson under fire, and it's his 3rd sack of the game. Jeff Duffy gets his 2nd and a half as he blew by the offensive lineman there, Daniel Rivera, and rocked straight into Matt Wilson's house.
Yeah, and that close-up there on the offensive lineman that tried to block Duffy, you could almost see his mouth moving like he was yelling to Wilson, hey, I'm sorry, look out. But not able to block Duffy as most offensive linemen aren't.
First from 2nd and 2 to 3rd. Nate! Oh, and it's caught by Barrett as he's falling over. It looked like he tripped as he turned around to look for the ball and still hold it in for a first down.
Yeah, and I don't even think he had his hands on the ball until he hit the ground. I think the way he fell, it kind of just cradled into his stomach, and harmlessly as he fell to the ground, it fell with him.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and that extends the drive for the Aztecs here. At the Queen City 43-yard line, 8:50 to play, third quarter, they're now by 10, 17-10 here. Here's the handoff to Bentley, and this time he's going to go nowhere, barreled under by what seems like the entire black-clad defensive line of Queen City.
Yeah, and something that you didn't see necessarily unless you were watching, the tackle that gave up the sack by Jeff Duffy was still blocking him far after Ray Bentley got tackled, so I think learned his lesson on that last play.
2nd and 10 after the no gain. Wilson back to pass, fires it out to the far side, hits Montague. And actually that's going to be incomplete as Montague was out of bounds. 3rd down and 8 now.
Yeah, the timing on their out routes so far, pretty much all game, has kind of been rough. They're able to get him off, but they're either too close to the sideline or like that one where he was already out of bounds when he could have gotten the ball.
2nd straight 3rd and 8 now for the Mexico City Aztecs. Can they convert it again and keep this drive going? Wilson under center, 3 receivers to aim at. He's going to take a 3-step drop. He's going to be under fire. He's going to sling it over the middle into triple coverage, and it's hauled in by Barrett. Unbelievable. He keeps doing this, threading the needle time and time again.
Yeah, and KL Barrett made the catch partially by trying to avoid contact, went kind of low right as he got his hands on the ball so that he could really focus on the catch rather than trying to, ready himself for contact, able to go to the ground so that he could haul in the football.
Pitch to Bentley. Look at him go. He's going to bounce off one tackler and get himself 7 yards. Going back to that last pass by Wilson, it looks like the Barnes Bomber does not want to go home today. He wants to go on to the quarterfinals with throws like that.
Yeah, and he's throwing with almost 79% completion percentage, sitting at 78.9 right now, just throwing extremely accurately and making sure that the ball is where only his receivers can get it.
Handoff Bentley, middle, first down at the 15-yard line as Mexico City once again moves into the Queen City red zone. They came up with only a field goal last time they were down here. Let's see if they can put it in the end zone this trip.
And Bentley's got to be careful with that football. When he ran into his offensive lineman and had to juke a little bit, he stuck his arm in the football way up in the air. It could have easily been punched out by a linebacker had they come flying in right at that moment.
4 wide on 1st and 10 from the 15, 3 to the top side left. It's going to be a fake to Bentley, pass to the near side on the quarter route, and a 5-yard pickup as Barrett picks up another catch. That's a good play on first down, right? Just get a few yards.
Yeah, that was an extremely good play. One main reason for it being so good is Matt Wilson had to throw that football. There was already a defensive lineman in his face ready to come at him. So he just had to throw to the first open man, which luckily he was looking Barrett's way at the time.
They're going to use the same formation, but just flip it. Now 3 to the near side right, 1 to the far side left. Another delayed fake handoff into the goal line, and falling out of bounds at the 2 is Montague. Couldn't turn up field after the pass was just thrown a little bit too far to his outside shoulder. He does come up with it. First and goal at the 2 for the second drive in a row here for the Aztecs.
And Matt Wilson now throwing over 80% completion percentage. And part of it has to do with the amount of pressure he's receiving. He's just got to throw it to the first guy he sees open.
Handoff, touchdown. Sorry to cut you off there, Robert. As Ray Bentley puts it on the board, his first touchdown of the game. He says, Phoenix, you've got one, now I've got one too, and we're a extra point away from being tied.
Yeah, luckily I had finished my thought right as you jumped in, but Ray Bentley able to find the open hole, even as small as it was, able to make himself skinny, squeeze through there and get into the end zone.
Bentley listed as a finesse back, but as we've proven time and again this season and in this game, he can be a power back whenever he wants to be, like right there when he barreled his way into the end zone. Cole Varner on for the extra point. And the kick is up and good. So from 17-7 down, the Mexico City Aztecs have scored 10 straight. They've tied it up at 17. It's Queen City football. When we come back, this is the SFL playoffs on 11 Sports and for the fans. A kickoff that almost goes out of the end zone and will be kneeled down, so Queen City will start at the 20. Michael Trillo, Robert Garrett Jr., Andy Hamilton on the call for this one. It's a 17-17 ball game here, 5:53 to go in the third. An extremely compelling opening to the second half as Mexico City ran almost half the quarter down in their opening drive to tie the game. And now let's see what Caswell and company can do to respond. He's going to drop back, fire over the middle, caught by Hacker right in the face of Pablo Zamora. And he's going to pick up 16 yards and move the ball to the 36-yard line.
And that's just one of the great things that Stephen Hacker could do. Pablo Zamora was standing in front of him where I didn't even think he'd be able to see the football. Out off of that angle, it looks like he may have beat him just a little bit on the route, but able to get his hands out there and snag that football in before anything of danger could happen for Queen City.
$17 here as we play in the third quarter. Caswell takes a high snap, under pressure, hit as he throws. He gets it down the field, and it's tipped and incomplete. He was looking for the home run ball to Hacker. Jeffrey Daggs was having none of that, but Caswell took an absolute shot on that play.
Yeah, and Stephen Hacker ended up having to play defense more than offense as Jeffrey Daggs was set up for that interception. Stephen Hacker had to smack it down from behind him to get it away from him.
2nd and 10 from the 36-yard line. A quick 3 and out here would really help Mexico City. Oh, they give it to Jet Zero on third. Sorry, that was 2nd and 10. I had it in my mind as 3rd and 10. It's going to be 3rd and 11 as Ogawa makes a tackle for 1 yard. Crisis averted here in the booth, but it is going to be 3rd and 11 on the field for Caswell.
Yeah, and it was still kind of a questionable call. Running off tackle like that with the fullback. Not quite able to get there as the blocks never set up for him.
3rd and 11. Caswell trying to do it with his arm here. From his own 35, he steps back, he fires down the field, and it's incomplete. He was looking for Curtis, the deep play threat. It was well defended on the back end by Zamora.
Yeah, and Chris Curtis was set up there other than the fact that he was in double coverage, and Mexico City played him perfectly well there. Interesting note is that since AJ Caswell's interception near the end of the first half, uh, Mexico City has held Queen City scoreless, which partially just has to do with how long they stretched this third quarter with their first drive.
First punt of the day for Ricky Matthews in Queen City. That's good punt defense by the Corsairs. And Mexico City will have the ball at their own 29-yard line when we come back to Buffalo. It's a tie ball game here, but the Aztecs have the ball and are looking to take the lead next on the SFL playoffs on 11 Sports and for the fans. Back in Buffalo, New York at Compro Field, Michael Churillo and Robert Garrett Jr. As Mexico City got a first 3 and out of the game, forced to punt, now has the ball back at their own 29-yard line. Matt Wilson under center, 2 receivers to the left, Bentley and Jones in the backfield. Wilson going to throw, pump fakes once, has plenty of time, and then he's hit as he tries to throw it down the field, and the ball goes straight into the turf. Nice pressure there by Stetzer. And looking at Matt Wilson, the last 2 drives for Mexico City, 15 plays, 89 yards, and 13 plays, 72 yards. That just speaks to veteran leadership under center, and you don't get much more veteran than 9 seasons in the Hall of Fame as well for the Bronze Bomber Wilson.
Yeah, and he plays extremely composed too. Even when there's pressure directly in his face, takes the time to think out his throws.
He's going to go to the near side here. Jones bobbled it, and it falls harmlessly to the turf. Lucky for him, too, because he had a defender right there on his back. 3rd and 10.
Yeah, and you could see him shaking his head as he headed back towards the huddle. Knew that that was a ball he had to catch and wasn't able to pull it in.
Wilson as well, the all-time SFL leader in passing touchdowns, broke that record just a few weeks ago. 3rd down and 10 now, as Wilson's going to have to work himself out of another 3rd and long situation, and there's been a lot of them in this game for the Aztecs. It's going to be a fake handoff, and he's going to fumble the football. He fumbled it on a sack. It's picked up by one of the offensive linemen going backwards inside the 20 and down at the 18. Oh, they're going to get a chance to punt, but that almost was disaster for Mexico City and a boon for Queen City.
Yeah, and what I thought was going to be interesting is the offensive lineman that picked that ball up had plenty of green room. Avery King able to stick his arm out and drag the big man down, but had he not made that tackle, who knows how far that offensive lineman could have ran.
Well, the commentator's curse strikes again. We have all these nice things to say about Wilson, and then the Aztecs go 3 and out, and a punt from the 5 is almost blocked. Hako got it away, but it's going to be great field position for the Corsairs in Mexico City territory for the 2nd time today to start their drive. And let's take a look at 3rd down conversion percentage, because it's been a big thing today, especially with Mexico City on their 2 scoring drives. Both of these teams in the top 5 of the league.
Yeah, Mexico City at their average right now, 55.6% on 3rd down percentage. Queen City, though, only 16.7. They've only converted on 1 of 6. So something that they've really got to work on in the second half to get going again.
Pass over the middle is caught. 2nd down and less than a yard to go after the catch by Hackers, stopped by Jackson. And it really is a pretty telling stat that all the teams in the top 5 of the 3rd down conversion percentage made the playoffs.
Yeah, 3rd down is extremely important in the game of football. And if you can't convert on those, you're punting the ball away a lot. And it's given up a lot of chances for you to continue your drives.
Jet Zero eases through the defensive line and picks himself up a 1st down to the Mexico City 33-yard line. I mean, blink and you'll miss it just like that. There's 3 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. You know, I was thinking, man, we just came back from the halftime break, but we're already almost to quarter number 4. It's a tie ball game.
Yeah, and the 1st quarter moved extremely slow, so both teams changing up the pace of the game a little bit, and you see it didn't work now.
Another run by Zero. He gets clobbered right at the line of scrimmage. He'll fall forward progress for 1 yard. But there was some viciousness to that hit by Nick Daggs.
Yeah, Nick Daggs came in with aggression and able to stop Jet Zero in his tracks, even actually took him off of his feet. The hit was so hard and able to force a second down.
2nd and 9, Caswell to throw. Oh, wide open on the far side. There was a blown coverage, and it's going to be a touchdown. Queen City takes the lead again in the ball game, and guess who? It's Stephen Hacker.
And those are the plays that Stephen Hacker lived for. The corner just blew the coverage, stepped up inside, set up that corner route for perfect route too. Able to take it into the end zone with the closest guy about 5-6 yards behind him. Easy touchdown, and the Corsairs are up.
Of all the receivers to leave open, you left open Stephen Hacker, the league leader in receiving yards. He gets his 15th receiving touchdown of the season on that play. And with 2:22 to go in the third, it's going to be a 6, pending the extra point, 7-point lead. And the kick is up and good by Troll. And just when you thought Mexico City had all the momentum, Queen City steals it back. It's 24-17, home team. And we will be right back on the SFL playoffs on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Back inside Compro Field in Buffalo, New York, the hometown Queen City Corsairs, courtesy of a deep punt and a short drive, have taken the lead again over the Mexico City Aztecs and put Matt Wilson and the Aztecs offense in a familiar spot in this football game as Joe Clark Jr. returns up to the 22. They've seen the entire game pretty much from the losing end, and as soon as they get tied, now they're back down again. What's the mentality of the Mexico City offense coming into this drive knowing, oh, we got to go get it again?
I think they really got to stay composed and do what they have all game, which is put together really long, drawn-out drives to stretch this game, shorten up the clock, and get back in within scoring distance.
Here's a pass over the middle. It's tipped and intercepted. There was a penalty flag on the play. It was intended for Richard Montague. It skipped off his hands and straight into the hands of the linebacker, but we shall see what the flag is. Oh, they're going to call pass interference on Queen City, and Mexico City's going to dodge a huge bullet there.
Yeah, and that was one of those plays that you could really call either way. The ball hit his hands right as the contact was made, and there were just a lot of question marks. Really, it could have depended on what referee on who threw the flag.
Oh, boy. The referees are currently not very popular with the people here in Buffalo as Mexico City gets a gift. They continue their drive, and here's Bentley plowing right up the middle for 3 yards.
Yeah, and this has been the success for Mexico City so far. These long drives that take, 10, 15 plays. Mexico City's scoring drives have been 10, 15, 13, while Queen City able to strike a little faster, 4, 6, and then 1 11-play drive to start the game. So Mexico City's got to stretch the clock.
Wilson, middle, caught, and a first down. That pass was caught by David Jr., the backup tight end, and Mike Daggs still does not have a catch in this ball game.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be in the huddle talking to Wilson. When the backup tight end's getting more involved than you're having the chance to, it's got to be a little bit frustrating for him, especially with all of the success he's had in his career.
Wilson under center, no wideouts to speak of. Here's a fullback dive. Oh, Phoenix Jones broke free, and he got 12 yards and a first down into Queen City territory up to the 46-yard line.
when you have two good runners like Mexico City does, and Phoenix Jones and Ray Bentley, it's hard for a defense to prepare for that each play. You never know which back is gonna get the ball, who's gonna get the carry. So you really got to split up on who you cover or who you're watching, and it shows there as they weren't ready for Phoenix Jones to get the carry.
Handoff. Bentley looking for a lane. Oh, he tried to spin away from a tackler, but only found himself in the arms of another one. And we have reached the end of the third quarter. 4's up in the chat. 11 minutes to go. Mexico City down 1 score. Can they come back? Find out next. This is the SFL Playoffs on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Final 11 minutes on tap here, the Simulation Football League Playoffs first round. It's the Mexico City Aztecs 17, the Queen City Corsairs 24. I'm Michael Torillo. Alongside me is Robert Garrett Jr. and Andy Hamilton. 24-17 the lead for the hometown Corsairs. A pump fake from Wilson. He goes over the middle and again threads the needle for a first down to Montague. And it seems like I'm repeating myself. I sound like a broken record now.
Yeah, and they got 6 plays on this drive already. They're getting up in the numbers, and like I said, if they can take down this clock and bring the score at least within 4 points or so, they're only down by 7, so a field goal sets them up good. But they have plenty of time, and they're controlling the clock well.
Pass out to Bentley. Oh, he breaks a tackle, and then he slowed him up just enough, so he got buried by Albert Begin. How about the rookie Begin? He's had a fantastic afternoon.
Yeah, he's made sure to keep Ray Bentley in check as good as he can. And, I think Ray Bentley's using the spin move a little too often right now. Should look probably at dropping his shoulder a little bit more, trying to run these guys over, as the spin moves failed him a couple times in like the last 5 minutes.
Again to Bentley. That pass a little high, slowed him up a little bit, and now he's got the entirety rushing at him. He's not going to get the first down. He's going to be 2 yards short. An update on Begin. 3 solo tackles, 2 passes defended. A pretty good day for the rookie in his first playoff game.
Yeah, and especially playing free safety, you're playing deep a lot of these plays. So the ability to come up and tackle a running back like Ray Bentley just says huge things about you as a player.
Handoff. Bentley not going to get there. Huge tackle in the hole by Afalabi, and it's 4th and 1.
And Afalabi just stood Ray Bentley up. and slammed him down on the ground like flipping a pancake. I mean, that was a ferocious hit, and I'm sure Ray Bentley's seeing stars as he's headed back to the sideline.
Well, they are in Cole Varner field goal range. This one will be from approximately 41. He's already 1 for 1 on the night with a chip shot in the second quarter. Snap is down. Hold is good. Kick is away and good. How about that? Cole Varner now 30 of 30 on season 14.
And they didn't get to tie it up like they had hoped, but keeping it within 4 is huge for them. If their defense is able to make a stop and not give up any big plays like they did to Hacker on the last drive, they're set up very nicely with plenty of clock left to go.
D-Day54 in the chat says everywhere is Varner rage. I'd agree. He can hit him from anywhere. Varner kicks off. Luther gone deep to receive. He's at the goal line. He'll return this one out to the 20 and be stopped right there. Officially the 21. Let's take a look at some defensive-minded players. Jeffrey Daggs and Kappa Jones at the back end of the defense. They both lead their teams in interceptions, but both have had pretty quiet afternoons so far.
Yeah, Jeffrey Daggs was set up well for an interception earlier in the game, but wasn't quite able to pull it in. Still making some tackles, but like you said, not as into the game as they'd like to be.
Hand off to 0. He'll pick up 4.
That was actually a keeper by Caswell, and that one did catch the defensive line off guard for the Aztecs, able to gain about 4 yards on that play.
Yeah, Caswell, I didn't bother to write this down, because it's a quarterback running, but he does have over 10 rushing attempts this season, and I thought, well, that must be just him sacks getting counted. But no, he is a legitimate threat to run. Caswell now in the gun. He throws to the far side. Oh, that was almost intercepted. Chris Curtis came down with the catch for a first down out to the 40-yard line, but man, that was close.
Yeah, an incredible focus by Chris Curtis to keep his eye on the ball. Seeing that it wasn't picked off, still able to pull it in before he stepped out of bounds. And really a great throw by Caswell. Unfortunately for Mexico City, Tayumi jumped just a little too early on the play and missed the interception.
Back in the power I formation here that they love to run jet zero out of. He'll get the ball again and get 1 yard. He is buried by the defensive line of Mexico City.
Yeah, there was nowhere he could run on that play. Got up to the line of scrimmage and immediately swallowed up by the Aztecs. Nowhere to go, and they got to look to do something else with 0 if they're going to be efficient.
2nd and 9 after the pickup of 1. They're still in the power I. 3 in the backfield and 0 again, trying to run straight at the defense. He's not going to get very far. Picks up 3, 3rd down and 6, and it's now once again on the arm of Caswell.
Yeah, and I think they're looking just to try to run a little bit of this clock out. They know that Mexico City's been taking these long, drawn-out drives. So if they don't have a lot of time on the clock, they're going to have to speed their game up, and it could cause trouble for the Aztecs.
Over the middle, caught. Nice slant pattern to Hacker from Caswell. A first down out to midfield, and it's going to go across midfield to the Mexico City 37. And they're back in Aztec territory.
And Agawa had Hacker wrapped up right as the catch was made, making sure he wasn't going to break anything out or do something spectacular, able to drag him down and just get a first down rather than a whole lot more.
Clear receivers to aim at all to the left. He's going to look that way into one-on-one coverage, and it's intercepted by the Aztecs. Back the other way to the 36-yard line, and the pendulum swings Mexico City's way once again. It's Han Tayumi's second pick of the afternoon.
Yeah, and that ball fell right into Han Tayumi's breadbasket. I mean, it at the end of the route, it looked like it was more thrown to him than it was to the receiver. Just set himself up perfectly for the interception, playing on the inside of the receiver, and gives the Aztecs back the ball.
Also, if I could quickly cast your mind back, or I'll get to it after this first play of the drive. Wilson under center, 2 in the backfield. From their own 36-yard line, Wilson looks to the far side. He's got a man that's caught and dragged down by Avery King is Number 21 on the catch. That's Phoenix Jones. So back to Caswell and his running. I was a little bit off on my stat from nowhere. He has 48 carries for 52 yards, and that's before the 4 he just gained right there on the last drive.
Yeah, it's just crazy what they've been able to do with him running from under center. But they found a way that it works, and it worked on that play as well.
Out route to Phoenix Jones. He's got himself a first down out past midfield to the 49. And look out, here come the Aztecs. They're only down 4, and they're moving into Queen City territory.
The defensive line for Queen City has been playing lights out football all game, but really the rest of them, it's been extremely hit or miss. The corners and linebackers haven't been set up well on passing plays, and it's caused Mexico City to get the plays they need when they need them.
Bentley's having a little bit of trouble running up the middle. Second down and 9 after the gain of only 1. Avery King makes another tackle. And I think he's been more effective in the second half when he's been stretched to the outside like the previous play.
Yeah, the middle's been stuffed up because the defensive tackles for Queen City have done a great job at playing their gaps, playing the responsibilities that they have, which has helped the linebackers out to fill in the extra holes.
Phoenix Jones runs straight into the teeth of the defense, had a lane to the right, chose to run left and got nothing. Third down and 8. And they credit Ajabo Afolabi with that tackle, but it was really about a gang tackle with about 4 black jerseys. Third down and 8, and it's back on the arms of Wilson again. Wilson throws underneath and Montague could have probably backed up for a first down, but he tried to turn around as momentum took him out of bounds. Fourth down and 2, and this is, I know we like to say that Cole Varner can hit from anywhere, but I think that's a little bit too far for his range, and on comes the punter, Henry Hayco.
Yeah, Montague on that play just got his feet twisted up when he made the catch. Wasn't able to regain his footing, which is why, as you said, it caused him to stumble out of bounds. And, Queen City didn't make the stop necessarily, but it was a great stop for Queen City's defense and able to get the ball back and keep this clock ticking.
24-21, under 5 minutes to go now as Queen City has the ball back, but deep in their own territory, trying to hang on. The SFL playoffs for 11 Sports and for the fans. Stay with us. Under 5 minutes to go here in Buffalo, New York at Conpro Field. The hometown Queen City Corsairs clinging to a 4-point advantage over the Mexico City Aztecs. Who is going to advance to the quarterfinals? We're going to find out in the next 5 minutes or so. Here's Jet Zero on a handoff. He gets through. That's one of Zero's best runs of the day right there. And let's take a look at Queen City Corsairs. We talked about A.J. Caswell earlier. And in the last 2 seasons with the addition of Stephen Hacker, man, it's been a night and day transition for this offense.
Yeah, the Corsairs passing game under A.J. Caswell has played lights out, especially the last 2 seasons, over 300 yards a game. And they're really pushing that right now, Caswell at 267.
After the run, it's 2nd and 4. It's going to be another carry by Zero. He's looking to try it. He broke a tackle, and he got a first down. Usually you don't expect fullbacks to be that shifty, but he slipped right out of the arms of Tony Stack and picked up a fresh set of downs for the Corsairs.
And Jet Zero there, able to find a hole, not quite where he wanted to, but by cutting it to the left and running between blocks, he turned himself, made himself look a little skinnier to fit through the hole, and able to gain a lot more than he would have if he tried to just plow straight up the middle.
Under 3:30 to go now. 1st and 10 for the Corsairs from their own 28-yard line. It's another power eye set as they're just trying to run down this clock. Another handoff to Zero, and he's going to fall forward for 2. Tackle for the backside by Zamora. You got to be careful here, though, if you're if Mexico City, to watch out for that deep ball over the top. They could burn you with it here.
Yeah, Queen City's playing extremely smart right now, trying to tire them out with the Jet Zero runs. And as soon as they have the ability, they're going to dump that ball deep to one of their receivers, and it's going to spell trouble for Mexico City.
Again, power I, 2nd and 8. Chris Curtis is the lone receiver, split far to the right-hand side. All the way down to 5 seconds before it's another give to Jones. He's going to get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. As you see the updated numbers on Jet Zero, 63 yards, 21 carries for the Queen City fullback, 3rd and 8. And this is a big play here with under 3 to go. Down 4. If you're Mexico City, you got to get this one.
Yeah, Mexico City's got to play lights out coverage here on Hacker and Curtis. It could be a lot of trouble if they're not covering the receivers like they should.
Could be the final play before the 2-minute warning, and it probably will. 2:10 on the snap. Caswell's going to run, and he didn't get there. 3rd time, not the charm for Caswell running in this football game, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning, and the Mexico City Aztecs are going to have the ball back. Oh boy, we're in for a barn burner of a finish. Do not go anywhere. The stunning conclusion is next on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Welcome back. 2 minutes to go in the ball game. Mexico City down by 4, but they're going to get the football back after the fake run by A.J. Caswell on 3rd down and 8 didn't quite get there. And Ricky Matthews stands on his own 20-yard line to punt. He'll get the ball away. It hangs in the air. It's going to be caught there at the 30-yard line. And a nice return up to the 35 by Joe Clark Jr. And this is the drive that will either end or extend the Mexico City season. You got to go now.
Yeah, they got to play quick. They got 1 minute and 51 seconds to go. And all game, they've been taking these long, melodic, thought-out drives, but not going to be able to this time around. They've got to get downfield quick and try to score.
3 receivers for Wilson to aim at. He hasn't been the most comfortable in the pocket, and again, he's pressured, but he throws it. It's intercepted. First play from scrimmage. It's picked off by Nene Ferris. That could be the backbreaker as Montague was undercut, and it's a turnover for the Corsairs.
That was a great play by Nene Ferris. Able to fly in there. I mean, you didn't even see him before the ball was thrown, playing deep on Montague, but able to fill in quickly, pick that ball off, and set the Corsairs up to really drive the stake in and take the victory.
Ferris, the week 4 signing, the rookie's 4th interception of the season, could very well be the dagger. Mexico City's going to have to get a 3 and out, burn some timeouts, and hope here. A handoff to Zero, goes nowhere. Falls forward for a yard first, Mexico City timeout. Oh boy. Turnox in the chat at twitch.tv/FTF next says what an anticlimactic conclusion to a stunning game. It very well might not be a 3 and out here, and they will get the ball again with very little time left, to be fair. But it's got to have to be a first down conversion for Queen City, and it's going to be 0 and 0 the yard back to the 47. 3rd down and 9, and when we say it's a tried and true phrase that we say in the commentary business of football: 3rd and ball game, 4th and ball game, and for both teams, this one is 3rd and ball game.
Yeah, and Queen City needs to look to at least get into field goal range on this drive, go up by 7. That way, when they give the ball back to Mexico City, they have to score a touchdown to tie up the game, rather than if they score now, it's still
Caswell runs again, and he's dragged down from behind. They tried it again on 3rd and long, and it didn't work. Oh boy, are they in field goal range? We're not sure. Matthews, the punter, is on the field.
And it looked like they might be at about the 42-yard line, so too deep for James Troll to try to come out and kick it. The best thing Queen City can hope for now is to pin them close to the end zone and try to force some kind of safety.
Punt away from Matthews. How deep are Mexico City going to have to drive? It bounces at the 10. It goes to the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2. Oh, and it's over the goal line. And Mexico City will start from their own 20-yard line. 1 minute and 28 seconds. No timeouts. Down by 4. A field goal does you nothing. And with that last interception ringing in his ears, Matt Wilson has to come back onto the field and try and lead his team to the quarterfinals.
I mean, I think right now would be time more than ever to hashtag throw it to the tight end. Mike Dagg still not getting targeted, but been extremely good downfield for the Aztecs all season.
Down the field, caught! Past the 40 to the 43, they've got no timeouts, they've got to go hurry up. I think that was K.L. Barrett on the diving reception. Check that, Montague is on the diving reception. Wilson again, pumps, throws, middle, caught. This time it is Barrett. First down. Remember, this is not college football. The clock does not stop on a first down. A minute to go in the game. Wilson again moves in the pocket. Hit as he throws it, it's knocked away.
And that was a saving play by Ferris for Queen City. They were stuck in a really bad coverage and couldn't get out of it. And it was just allowing Mexico City to march downfield.
Here we are. The clock stops with 57 seconds to go. Can Matt Wilson lead this team down the field? They're at the 46-yard line. A little teardrop pass over the middle. That pass is complete. A gain of 9, 3rd and 1. And was that who I thought it was? Yes, it was. Mike Daggs picks up his first catch of the day. Hardly matters now if they can't get in the end zone. A first down again, but they keep going short. This time only to the 33-yard line. They cannot stop the clock with a timeout. They've got to go to the sidelines here. Wilson, 34 seconds. They spike the football, and I get a chance to take a breath.
Yeah, Matt Wilson is playing lights out right now. Able to find the open receiver with little time to make the throw. And just keeping his whole offense composed, marching down the field. And they're set up well at the 33, but only 34 seconds left to go in this ballgame.
Gonna have to go deep to the end zone here on one of these plays. 34 seconds left to go, down by 4. 24-20 in Queen City. Wilson under pressure. Down he goes for a sack. They got to get up and get the ball. It's 3rd and 12. They can spike it if they want. 25 seconds to go. Wilson gonna throw under pressure. Down he goes again. It's 4th and 11. They can't spike the ball now. Under 20 seconds to go. They gotta run a play. Wilson slow to get back to the line. 13 seconds to play. Can they get a snap off? 11 seconds. 10. This will be the last play of the ball game. Wilson back to pass, throws, middle, intercepted, and Queen City's gonna go to the quarterfinals. It's Albert Begin that ends the ball game, and the Queen City Corsairs are still in the hunt for a 6th career championship.
And Albert Begin, we've been talking about him all game, playing extremely well in this playoff game for a rookie, able to intercept the ball and seal the deal for the Corsairs as they will continue their march through the playoffs.
We have had a couple of barn-burning games today. The first game, Chicago put out St. Louis. That was sealed on a late interception. And in this one, Queen City puts out Mexico City, also sealed on a late interception. The clock hits triple zeros, and that is the end of the second and final game of the day. Remember, you've got SFL action tomorrow as well. But first, let's break down this one, Robert Garrett Jr.
I mean, if you look at the time of possession, you would be extremely shocked to see that Mexico City lost the way that they did. They controlled the clock in the game pretty much 100% of the time, but Queen City able to strike quick every time they got the ball in the end zone. It was within, 6 or 7 plays every time.
We've seen some amazing highlights in this game. It was a low-scoring one, a lower-scoring one than we anticipated coming in. It's a 24-20 final. But in the end, it's the playoffs, and all you got to do is win by one. And Queen City, man, they grinded this one out. Mexico City never went away. You can expect that from a former champion with 2 Hall of Famers on offense. This is one for the record books. This whole day has been one for the record books. Who do you give player of the game to? It's really tough. I think I'm going to have to go with Caswell.
Yeah, AJ Caswell played extremely well, 267 yards, and really dishing the ball out to his 2 great receivers, as you expected he would. But not only that, able to gain some positive yards rushing, really catching us and the defense off guard when he would run the ball.
Tomorrow, we've got quarterfinal action, Simulation Football League style. It's Charleston and Sioux Falls. Eddie Hamilton and Dan Mitchell on the call. 11 Sports Network at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern, it's Jacksonville and Vancouver, a rematch of a Week 12 matchup with Eric Vincent and Cade Stevens behind the microphone. Your player of the game is AJ Caswell, as it always is. And as it always is, to my final broadcast here of the season of the Simulation Football League, I'd like to thank Cameron Irvine, Mike Daggs, Chris Curtis, Andy Hamilton, everybody that allows me to be one of the voices of the SFL. I greatly appreciate everybody for watching all season long. Tune in for the quarters to finals tomorrow. But from ConPro Field, from Robert Garrett Jr. and Andy Hamilton and Cameron Irvine, I've been Michael Turillo. We will see you next time as the SFL playoffs roll on.